The awakening John Carter opened his eyes slowly. Everything felt strange. His bed was warm, but something was not right. His body was heavy, like something was pressing him down. As his vision cleared, he saw her. An alien woman was on top of him. Her eyes were large and glowing blue. Her skin was smooth and silver. Her 4 fingers were holding his shoulders firmly. She was breathing hard, staring at the door behind him. She didn't move. She didn't blink. John was shocked. "What? What are you doing? Get off me!" Before she could speak, something flashed. A thin red beam of energy shot across the room, right where his head had been. It hit the wall behind his bed, burning a hole through the metal. If she hadn't been on top of him, he would be dead. The alien woman quickly pulled him off the bed and dropped to the floor beside him. "Stay low," she whispered, her voice calm but firm. John's heart was racing. He didn't understand what was going on. This was his house. He lived alone on a quiet colony planet. There was no war here, no danger. Just peace. "Who are you?" he asked, still breathing hard. She didn't answer. Instead, she crawled toward the wall and picked up a small silver disc. She touched it, and a faint blue shield formed around them. "I'm your housekeeper," she said finally. "I started today." John stared at her in disbelief. "Housekeeper? You almost crushed me." "I saved you," she said. He didn't argue. She was right. That blast wasn't random. Someone had tried to kill him in his sleep. But why? He looked at the woman again. She wore simple clothing, a dark robe with strange symbols. Her hair was long and white, falling over her shoulders like snow. She didn't seem like a soldier, but she moved fast. Too fast. "Who attacked? Me?" he asked. She looked down. "I can't say." John frowned. "Can't or won't?" She didn't answer. He stood up carefully and looked around. The room was quiet again, but the hole in the wall proved it was real. This wasn't a dream. Someone had really tried to kill him. "I need answers," he said. "Right now." The woman stood too. She was tall, almost as tall as him. She looked him in the eyes and said, "They'll come again." John felt cold inside. Who are they? Still no answer. He walked to the door and pressed the security panel. The system was damaged. No alarms had gone off. Someone had bypassed his defense grid. He looked back at her. "You knew they were coming." "Yes," she said quietly. "And you didn't tell me?" "I was ordered not to." John sat down on the couch. His hands were shaking. He tried to think. Why would anyone want to kill him? He was just an engineer working on colony systems. He had no enemies. Unless he knew something without realizing it. He stared at the woman. "Tell me your name." "Rila." "Rila, what are you?" "A Zyrene," she said. John had heard of the Zyrene. They were an old alien race, peaceful, spiritual, and secretive. They rarely left their own planets. Why would one of them work as a housekeeper? He leaned forward. "You're not really here to clean my house, are you?" Rayla didn't move. "I think someone sent you to protect me. But why? What's so special about me?" She looked at him. Her eyes softened for a moment. Then she said, "You don't know it yet, but you're important. Very important." John was getting frustrated. "Why won't you explain?" "Because if you know the truth too early," she said, "you will die faster." He stood up. "That doesn't make sense." She turned away. "It will soon." John walked to the broken wall and stared at the burn mark. Whoever sent that blast meant business. They didn't want to scare him. They wanted him dead. He turned back to Rila. "You saved me. Twice now." "Yes. So I guess I trust you. For now." She nodded. "Then stay close. Don't go outside. And whatever you do, don't sleep alone again." Her words sent a chill down his spine. He didn't like being helpless. But For now he had no choice. There were too many questions and not enough answers. That night, John didn't sleep. He sat in the corner with a stun blaster in his hand, eyes watching every shadow. And Ryla? She stood by the window all night, silent and still. Watching. The silent protector hook. She didn't eat. She didn't sleep. She just stood by the window, all night like a statue, waiting, watching, protecting. Morning came, but John Carter had barely blinked. He had sat in silence the entire night, gripping the stun blaster tight in his hand. The events from the night before still echoed in his mind. A death blast, a mysterious alien woman on top of him, and her strange warning, "Don't sleep alone again." He glanced across the room. Ryla was still there, standing like she hadn't moved an inch. The soft morning light fell on her silver skin. Her eyes, glowing faintly, never left the outside world. "You're not really a housekeeper," John said quietly. Ryla didn't look at him. "I already told you that I was sent to keep you alive." "Right," John sighed, rubbing his forehead. "But why? Who wants me dead? What am I, some secret prince or chosen one?" "No," she said simply. "You're worse." John raised an eyebrow. "Worse?" She finally turned toward him. "You are a key." He blinked. "A key to what?" Ryla didn't answer. Instead, she walked toward a wall panel and scanned her hand. A hidden compartment opened, revealing a long black case. John stood up fast. "Hey, that's my house. You don't just go opening secret panels." "This was added 3 days ago," she replied. "By my team. You didn't notice." John's mouth opened, but no words came. He hadn't seen any team, no engineers, no signs of construction. She opened the case. Inside was a small cube glowing with blue light. It pulsed like a heartbeat. John stared at it. "What is that?" "Proof," she said. "Proof of what?" "That someone has already marked you for death." The cube projected an image, a map of the galaxy marked with red blinking zones. One by one, the zones turned black as if vanishing. At the center, a human symbol flashed, John's ID number from the colony database. That's me," he whispered. "They know what's inside you," Ryla said, "but you don't." John turned away, confused and angry. "I'm just a man, a mechanic. I fix cooling vents and water systems, not galactic wars." She stepped closer. 5 years ago, you were injured in a space shuttle crash. You don't remember what they did to your body during surgery? But I do. I read the files." John froze. "You were watching me even back then?" "I was ordered to." He sat down heavily. "So all this time, I was walking around like a time bomb, and no one told me. You were peaceful. You were normal. Until now." John stood again, pacing. "Okay. Let's say I believe you. That something was placed inside me. Some energy. Some tech. But that doesn't explain why you're protecting me. You don't even know me." "I don't need to," she said calmly. "I serve the Guardian Order. We protect beings who carry ancient energy signatures. You are one." He frowned. "So what happens now?" "Now you survive." John shook his head. "That's not a plan." Suddenly, an alarm beeped on her bracelet. Ryla's body tensed. "What's happening?" John asked. "Someone crossed your shield zone." She pulled him to the ground just as the window shattered. A metal sphere flew into the room, blinking red. "Grenade!" John yelled. But Ryla moved fast, faster than any human. She grabbed the sphere, wrapped her body around it, and leapt through the broken window. A second later, a loud boom echoed outside. John ran to the edge and looked down. Smoke rose from the garden. Ryla lay in the dirt, her clothes scorched, but her body still moving. He rushed down to her side. "You could have thrown it away." "I couldn't risk it bouncing back," she coughed. "My job is to keep you alive, that's all." John pulled her up and helped her walk. "Your job?" "No, It's more than that now. You just jumped on a bomb for me. Rila looked at him, confused. Is that not what humans do for someone they protect? He laughed weakly. Maybe in movies. As they got back inside, John started seeing her differently. She wasn't just a machine or a soldier, she felt pain, she made choices. And today, she chose to save him, again. He gave her water and wrapped a towel around her shoulders. You said more attackers will come, he said softly. How many? Dozens, she replied. Maybe more, but I won't let them reach you. John nodded slowly. Then I guess you're not just a housekeeper anymore. She looked at him with calm eyes. I never was. Outside, the wind blew across the broken glass. In the distance, unseen ships waited silently in orbit, watching, planning. They would come soon. But this time, John wouldn't be alone. The human target hook. John wasn't just running for his life. He was running from a truth buried inside him. Something powerful enough to change the galaxy or destroy it. The wind howled. Through the broken window, John Carter stood still, looking at the smoke rising from his garden. The air smelled like burnt metal and dust. Everything around him had changed in just 2 days. He was no longer just a colony engineer. He was now a target. Inside the house, Rila sat quietly on the floor, her skin still marked with black burns from the grenade. But her eyes were alert, focused. You should be resting, John said, walking over. I don't need rest, she replied. You do. He sat beside her. I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see that blast right where my head was. Rila looked at him. They want you dead because of what's inside you. John stared at her. You keep saying that, but I don't feel different. I don't have anything. Rila reached into her robes and pulled out a tiny scanner. She pressed it against his chest. A soft hum filled the room. Then the scanner beeped. A hologram popped up between them, a glowing shape inside John's body. It looked like a crystal, heart pulsing with blue light. That, Rila said, pointing, is not human. John's heart skipped. What is it? We call it a star core. It was lost thousands of years ago during the First Galactic War. No one knew where it went, until now. He stood up, pacing again. But how did it get inside me? You were in a crash, 5 years ago, Rila explained. You don't remember much from it, but your body was almost destroyed. The rescue team that saved you was actually a secret faction. They implanted the core in you without your knowledge. John's hands trembled. Why me? You're compatible, she said. Your DNA accepted it. That makes you the only human in the galaxy who can carry it. He shook his head. So I'm just an accident? Rila stood, firm and tall. No, you are a miracle, but miracles are feared. John laughed bitterly. And now I have a target on my back. A big one, she said. You are being hunted by assassins, mercenaries, and even corrupt leaders from high councils. They want the core, but they can't take it without killing you. John looked out the window again. The stars above were quiet, but he knew they were not empty. So what do I do? He asked. You train, Rila said, and we run. Before John could respond, a sharp alert buzzed from Rila's wristband. Her eyes narrowed. They've found us again, she said. How? He asked. They're tracking the energy from the core. We have to move, now. Rila rushed to a hidden panel in the floor and opened a metallic hatch. A narrow tunnel stretched into darkness. John stared at it. That's new. Built months ago, she said, in case of escape. You really planned all this? I planned for every death, and every life I must protect. They climbed into the tunnel. It was cold and quiet, lit by faint blue lights. The path sloped downward, deeper into the earth. John's thoughts raced. He never asked for this. He wanted a quiet life, one filled with fixing machines, drinking coffee, and watching star shows, not running from bounty hunters with alien housekeepers. After what felt like hours, they reached a metal door. Rila pressed her palm to it, and it slid open with a soft hiss. They stepped into an underground hangar. Inside sat a sleek black skimmer. An escape ship built for speed. Is that yours? John asked. No, she said. It's yours. Registered in your name. You bought it last year. I did? Technically, she replied. John raised an eyebrow. You hacked my finances? No, she said. I managed them efficiently. He almost smiled. Almost. They boarded the skimmer. Rila took the pilot seat while John watched the scanners. He saw something on the screen. A red dot. Getting closer. Someone's above us, he said. They're landing. We're out of time, Rila replied. The skimmer roared to life. The ceiling above split open, and the ship blasted into the sky. From behind, explosions shook the ground. Enemy drones fired as they rose, but Rila flew fast, zigzagging between blasts like a shadow. John gripped the seat. I'm just a mechanic, remember? I wasn't built for this. You are now, Rila said calmly. As they broke through the cloud layer, John saw a fleet of ships on the horizon. Black and red. No flags. No names. Just death. He looked at Rila. They're really coming for me. She nodded. Yes. And they won't stop. John leaned back, eyes fixed on the stars. He didn't feel ready. He didn't feel brave. But now, he knew one thing. He wasn't just a man anymore. He was the human target. Escape into Shadow's flames danced in the sky as the skimmer ship raced across the upper atmosphere. John Carter sat beside Rila, breathing fast, his hands shaking. Behind them, 3 black enemy ships followed closely, firing red plasma bolts. We're not going to make it, he shouted. Yes, we are, Rila said without fear, pulling the controls hard to the right. The skimmer flipped sideways, narrowly dodging a beam that melted a hole in the clouds. John gritted his teeth as gravity pulled him sideways. Rila didn't blink. Her focus was sharp, too sharp for someone who claimed to be a simple protector. Are you sure you were ever a housekeeper? He asked. She smiled for the first time. I kept many houses, most of them burning. A sudden impact rocked the ship. One of the enemy shots clipped their tail. We're losing altitude, John warned. We're not landing, Rila replied. We're disappearing. She hit a hidden switch. The ship dove sharply, plunging into the dark clouds below. Static burst across the screen, radar signals vanished. The enemy ships zoomed past, missing their target completely. Did we crash? John asked, trying to breathe. No, she said. We ghosted. The ship leveled out inside a deep canyon covered in thick mist. It was a place no scanner could see, no satellite could reach. This is one of the last shadow zones, Rila explained. A safe place. For now. John looked around at the high walls and falling ash. It didn't feel safe. It felt like a tomb. They landed beside an old bunker built into the rock. It looked ancient, half buried, half broken. Where are we? He asked. This used to be a Zyrene outpost, long before humans ever came to this planet, Rila said. Now it's our hideout. Inside the bunker, old machines hummed softly. Dust covered everything, but the system still worked. Rila activated a field shield around the area. We'll rest here. You'll need it. John sat down slowly. His body was tired, but his mind was racing. How long until they find us again, he asked. Hard to say. Could be hours, maybe a day. But they will come. The core inside you sends out small pulses. The more stressed you are, the louder it gets. John laughed nervously. So the more I panic, the faster I die. Great. Rila walked over and handed him a small breathing crystal. Breathe through this. It will help calm the pulse. He inhaled. The air tasted sweet, almost like mint and metal. Slowly, he felt his chest lighten. Rila, he said softly. You keep saving me. Why? She looked away. Because I failed the last one. The last one? There was another before you, she whispered. Another human who carried the core. But I wasn't fast enough. He died in my arms. John stared at her. So, I'm just your second chance? No, she said firmly. You are the chance. They sat in silence for a moment. Then John stood up. I don't want to hide forever. I want to fight. But I don't even know what I'm fighting. Rila turned on a hollow screen. A figure appeared. A tall alien in black armor. Face hidden behind a mask. His voice echoed like thunder. Bring me the human, dead or alive. The core belongs to me. John shivered. Who is that? The Collector, she said. He gathers powerful artifacts and uses them to control planets. He believes the core will make him a god. John frowned. And what do you believe? I believe the core belongs to someone who won't use it for power, she said. I believe it chose you. But I don't feel special. Neither did the stars, she replied, until they burned. That night, John couldn't sleep again. He sat at the entrance of the bunker, looking up at the sky, wondering how everything changed so fast. He used to fix pipes. Now he was hiding in a canyon from killers with ships and weapons he couldn't even name. Rila sat beside him quietly. Do you miss your home? He asked her. I never had one, she said. Until now. John looked at her. You mean this place? No, she said, eyes soft. I mean with you. He didn't know what to say. Suddenly the scanner blinked red again. They're here, Rila said. Too soon. She stood, pulling a pulse rifle from her side. We have to move. John grabbed a pack. Where? Deeper, she said. Into the underground tunnels. If we're lucky, they won't follow. And if we're not lucky? She smiled again. Then we make our own luck. Together they vanished into the shadows once more. This time, not just running for survival, but heading toward something bigger, something waiting in the dark, secrets of the core. The tunnel was cold, damp, and endless. John Carter followed Rila deeper into the underground passage. Strange lights pulsed. Along the walls, ancient and forgotten, it was like walking through the veins of a sleeping giant. They had escaped the canyon just in time. Enemy ships had rained fire down on the surface, turning their hideout to ash. But underground, no scanners could reach them. Where are we going? John asked, his voice echoing off the stone. To the Temple of Sparks, Rila replied. It was built by my ancestors. The core inside you was made there. John touched his chest where the glowing crystal heart pulsed inside him. He still didn't understand how it all worked. He had never asked for any of this. But the more he ran, the more the core responded. It warmed his body, whispered through his dreams, and once, he swore it had slowed time when a blast nearly hit him. What is this core really? He asked, trying to keep up. Rila slowed. It's not just power. It's memory. It holds the knowledge of thousands of civilizations. John frowned. Like a library? No, she said. Like a ghost. Every previous bearer lives inside it. John stopped walking. You're telling me there are voices in me? Rila turned to face him. Not voices, but instincts, thoughts, sometimes even feelings that are not yours. He remembered moments over the past few days, how he reacted fast to threats, how he understood things he shouldn't know, how he dreamed of places he'd never seen. It was all true. As they reached the temple, massive stone doors opened slowly on their own. Inside, soft blue light floated in the air. The chamber felt sacred, ancient, alive. The walls were covered in carvings, Cyrene warriors, humans, and other species John had never seen. In the center was a mirror-like device with a stone chair beneath it. What is this place? John asked in awe. This is where it began, Rila whispered. Sit, let it show you. He hesitated. Then slowly, he sat in the chair. The mirror device lit up, scanning him. The room darkened. Suddenly, visions filled the air. He saw ancient wars, armies, fighting across the stars. He saw the core being created, shaped by light and sound. He saw a human, a warrior like him, fall in battle with the same glow in his chest. Then, he saw the collector, tall, dark, terrifying. He stood before an army of machines, holding a broken body in one hand and laughing. The vision faded. John opened his eyes, gasping. "He's coming." "Yes," Rila said, "but now you've seen what he's done, and what he'll do if he gets the core." John stood. His hands glowed faintly with energy. "I felt something. The others who had this, they didn't want to let go. They fought until their last breath." "They did," Rila said. "But they didn't have what you have." "What's that?" She stepped closer. "A choice." He looked down at his hands. "Then I choose to stop running." Suddenly, the ground shook. "They found us," Rila said. "I thought we had more time." "How did they track us underground?" "They didn't," she whispered. "He did." A deep voice filled the chamber. At last, the human wakes. From the shadows, a tall figure stepped forward. Black armor, shining, eyes glowing red. The collector. Rila aimed her rifle. "Back away." He didn't move. "You think I fear you, Guardian? You failed once. You will again." John stepped in front of her. "I'm not giving you this core." The collector smiled. "Oh, child, you don't give it to me. It returns to its maker." He raised his hand, and John felt the core twist inside him. Pain shot through his chest. He dropped to one knee. Rila fired, but the blast stopped mid-air. The collector's armor absorbed it like dust. "You're not ready," Rila said, helping John up. "You need to leave. Now." John stood, energy now swirling around his arms. "No, I need to fight." Rila stared at him. The glow from his body was brighter now, controlled, balanced. "You're syncing with it," she whispered. "The core is choosing you. Right now." John faced the collector. "Then let's finish this." But the collector stepped back into shadow, laughing. "Soon, human, soon." He vanished. The room went silent again. John collapsed, breathing hard. "I wasn't ready." "You will be," Rila said. "You don't have to carry this alone." He looked at her. "Do I still have a choice?" She nodded. "Yes, but time is running out." The energy in his chest pulsed once more, stronger, sharper, clearer. John Carter was no longer just a target. Now, he was becoming the weapon. The invasion begins. John Carter stood at the edge of the mountain ridge, staring into the horizon. What he saw made his blood run cold. The sky was splitting. Massive black ships dropped through the clouds like daggers. Dozens of them, silent, smooth, deadly. They didn't fire, they didn't speak. They just hovered, watching, waiting. Rila stood beside him, pulse rifle in her hand, face expressionless. "They've arrived." John didn't ask who. He already knew. "The collector," he whispered. "Yes," Rila said. "And he brought his entire fleet." Behind them, ancient, temple stones cracked from the pressure in the air. Birds vanished, wind stopped. The world seemed to hold its breath. "What are they waiting for?" John asked. "For you," Rila replied. "This is not an invasion of a planet, it's an invasion of you." John clenched his fists. The energy, inside him, his core, began to pulse hotter, faster. It reacted to the ships in the sky like it knew them. Rila turned to him. "There is a way to stop this." "I'm listening." "There's a beacon tower, one of the old Zerini defense systems. If you reach it and release the core's full energy, it can create a barrier strong enough to push the collector's fleet out of this system." John nodded. "What's the catch?" You may not survive, she said. He smirked. I figured. She placed a hand on his shoulder. You've already survived more than any of the others. That's because I have something they didn't have. What? You. For the first time, Rila's face softened, but there was no more time. A deep humming sound filled the air. The ships were activating. They're scanning for you, Rila said. We have to move. Together, they raced down the mountain, through the broken temple across fields that now burned with falling debris. Drones flew overhead searching for him. They dove behind rocks, slid under fallen trees, and moved like shadows. But there was no hiding for long. A sudden blast struck the ground beside them. The impact threw John off his feet. He rolled and came to a stop, coughing in the dust. Rila pulled him up. They're closing in. They reached an old transport bike hidden beneath a tarp. It was ancient but functional. Rila jumped on and powered it up. John hopped behind her. I hope this thing can fly. It doesn't fly, she said. It runs. The bike blasted forward, speeding across the valley at insane speed. Behind them, drones gave chase, firing laser beams that exploded like thunder. John turned and aimed a stolen blaster, firing back. He hit one drone. It exploded in a ball of blue fire. Nice shot, Rila said. Lucky shot, he replied. Up ahead, the beacon tower rose through the smoke. It was tall, sharp, and surrounded by jagged cliffs. It looked unreachable. They've surrounded it, John said. I know, Rila replied, but I have a way in. How? We crashed the bike. What? She smiled. Hold on. The bike jumped off a broken path and flew over the rocks. John screamed. Rila aimed it straight at the tower's side. The bike slammed into the wall, breaking through a weak point. They rolled into the base of the tower, coughing but alive. We're inside, she said. Barely. John groaned. Inside, glowing lines lit the walls. The tower pulsed with power. This is it, Rila said. You need to connect with it. John walked to the core terminal. As he stepped near it, the energy inside his chest pulled forward, like it wanted to join the tower. Place your hand on the stone, Rila instructed. Let the core guide the flow. John placed his hand down. The stone lit up. His eyes widened. He saw stars, entire systems, flashing through his mind. He felt power, weight, history, and pain. The core spoke without words. It showed him the lives it had passed through, the people who had carried it, died for it, protected it. Then it showed him Earth, his home, his family, his people. He opened his eyes. I have to do it. You don't have to die doing it, Rila said. John turned to her. If I don't, everyone else will. He pressed both hands to the terminal. Light exploded from his chest, surging into the beacon. The tower glowed, like a star. A wave of pure force shot into the sky, slamming into the collector's ships. One by one they flickered, shook, and vanished. The sky cleared, but John fell. Rila caught him as he collapsed, his body weak, energy fading. I told you not to die, she whispered, holding him close. He smiled faintly. I didn't yet. He closed his eyes, and the tower kept glowing. A housekeeper's oath, everything was silent. No explosions, no alarms, no screams, only the soft hum of the beacon tower as it continued to glow above the world. John Carter lay motionless at its base, eyes closed, chest barely rising. His body had burned like a sun just minutes ago, channeling the core's full power to push back an entire fleet. Now, he looked cold, empty. Rila knelt beside him, her hand gripping his tightly. Stay with me, she whispered. Don't leave yet. He didn't move. She placed her head on his chest, listening. A faint beat was there, but weak, fading. I was ordered to protect you, she said quietly. But I never expected you to protect me. Her silver fingers trembled slightly as she reached into her robe and pulled out a glowing crystal. It pulsed with her own life force, a backup core only Guardians carried, used only in last moments of duty. She looked at John, then at the crystal. "You deserve to live," she whispered. She pressed the crystal against his chest. It sank in, melting into his skin with a soft golden light. The two energies, the ancient core and her guardian spark, merged. Suddenly his body glowed again. He gasped, his eyes flew open. He sat up, coughing, eyes wide. "Rila?" She smiled faintly. "Welcome back." John looked around. The tower was still shining. The sky was blue again. "They're gone?" he asked. "For now," she said. "You stopped them." He touched his chest. "I thought I was—" "You almost were," Rila said. "You gave everything. And you gave it back," he said, staring at her. "You used your life crystal." "I made an oath," she said, softly, "to guard the bearer of the core, but that oath changed. I wasn't just protecting the core anymore. I was protecting you." He took her hand. "You're more than a protector. You're the reason I'm still here." She helped him stand. From the top of the tower they looked out over the land. Colonists and other aliens began to emerge from hiding. Ships returned from deep space. Lights flickered back to life in cities once dark. Hope had returned. But peace, Rila knew, was never permanent. "The Collector may return," she warned. "Next time, stronger." "Then I'll be ready," John said. "Because I'm not running anymore," she nodded. "You'll need training, allies, a plan." He smiled. "And a housekeeper." Rila raised an eyebrow. "I don't do dishes. You just saved the galaxy. I'll let it slide." They walked down the tower together. People stared at John like he was a legend. But he didn't feel like a hero. He felt like a man who had been broken and remade, by fire, by pain, and by the strange alien woman who never left his side. Back at the colony, things had changed. People respected him. Some feared him. Most just wanted to shake his hand. But John didn't care for attention. All he cared about was the woman who stood by his door, quiet and alert, always watching. One morning he woke up to find Rila not in the room. Panicked, he looked around. She was outside, tending a small garden, just like a housekeeper might. He walked out to her. "What are you doing?" "Planting peace," she said. "It may not last, but it deserves to grow." John nodded. "So? What now?" She stood and faced him. "Now we rebuild. We prepare. And when darkness comes again, we fight it. Together." He smiled. Together. Later that night, as they sat watching the stars, Rila asked, "Do you still see me as just your housekeeper?" He looked at her, eyes warm. "No. You were never just anything." She nodded. "Then I'll make a new oath. Not just to the Guardian Order, but to you." He leaned closer. "What kind of oath?" She placed a hand over his chest, where the core still pulsed faintly. "To walk beside you, to protect what makes you human, and to remind you of it even when you feel like a god." John chuckled. "Sounds like a full-time job." She smiled. "I accept." As the stars sparkled above and the wind carried whispers of peace, John. Carter leaned back and closed his eyes. Not from fear this time, but from calm. Because even if the universe came crashing down again, he knew who would be standing beside him. A housekeeper, a warrior, a friend,